Now back to Benin Network Center. We are quickly looking at the state of the nation. Every right-thinking Nigeria at this point will be concerned with happenings in our country. Well, I have with me in the studio Solomon Ijobe. He's a civil rights activist. He is joining us live here in the Network Center. Good morning, Solomon.
Yeah, thank you, Praise. Good morning. And viewers, a very good morning this morning.
And of course, from my extreme left is Hiso SCJ. He's an author and a political analyst. Glad to have you.
Thank you very much for having me.
Okay, let's quickly come to you, Solomon. There are a lot to talk about, and there is no way we can talk about the state of the nation without looking at what happened recently in Adamawa State. Looking at the action of the suspended REC, Hudu Ari now, what will you say happened there?
It's a case of Manduma. That's what we call it in the local palace.
Manduma.
Manduma.
Okay.
And it's a clear reflection of what transpired during the February presidential elections. I'll tell you why. It is not at all possible for a state REC to have taken such an attempt without having been tutored, trained, or having a glimpse, if you like, an idea of such happening or having happened within the commission. Because Nigerians were taken aback when General, if you like, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu announced his results.
Yeah, he's not a military officer.
But he's the general commanding officer.
He's just the chairman of
He's the general commanding officer.
Okay.
He has a final say.
It's okay.
After all, somebody had made an announcement in Adamawa and somebody gave a counter from Abuja. So he's
the boss.
He's the general commander. I agree. The same thing.
Right.
So point being made here is that perhaps, you know, we had via Abush Radio and later our general hearing device that there was about 2 billion naira that exchanged hands, rumored. But there's obviously an atom of facts associated. But having said that, I think very sincerely that what happened in Adamawa is a clear reflection of what we saw happen in the February 25th presidential election.
Okay, quickly.
And that a man who is a state REC, whose duty in the first instance was not to announce results, who initially also gave a suggestion the previous day that
they should reconvene
by 11 o'clock. Before the time announced, the Oga at the top had decided with the field marshals to decide to announce the result without having the relevant documentations, as it were, as at then, to announce, or even the powers, as it were. Yes, it's a state REC, but whereas it was the duty of the returning officer to do so. It goes to show that INEC has shown to us that Nigeria has become but a banana republic.
Well, he has been recalled to Abuja anyway. Let's quickly come to SCJ. The winner has been announced finally. The sitting governor is the winner. He has received the certificate of return. But there are some allegations that people are trying to truncate the victory of a sitting governor in the Federal Republic. Talking about Adamawa State now. What's your take, quickly?
Just like what happened in the presidential election. Like somebody's, at least after the announcement of results, you saw the atmosphere. It was like a state, a state that ought to be jubilating, they wanted into money, as it were. So I believe what happened.
And so people celebrated the president-elect.
Yes.
It's a part of the country.
A negligible few.
Some people.
A negligible few, Mr. Praise. A negligible
Some people
few.
actually celebrated.
A negligible few.
You call that the celebration.
Okay.
Whether by the way. So what happened in Adamawa is an offshoot or is a reflection of the big picture. What happened, in the presidential. So for that reason, so if people are saying that, oh, this whole process, we don't need it, I believe they have every right We have a breaks.
Okay, now you made mention of an allegation of 2 billion involved in this whole process. A top security agency's top man was apprehended, and he actually made some of this assertion, though we are yet to verify or get clear information about that. But the APC governorship candidate, Binani, she has come out to make a disclaimer that she's not in any way connected to that sum, as alleged. How do we put this together?
What were you expecting? That she should agree that she gave bribe for her to be announced? You see, praise, let us not deceive ourselves. Sitting governor, acclaimed winner, initial winner of the election, they all gave. It's just a matter of...
You are not there.
My brother, you are in this country. See, you are facts.
We like stating facts on this program.
They were saying the facts, obvious facts. Undiluted obvious facts.
Is it proven?
The truth of the matter, where do you have proofs? When snake chop money for this country, you get proof. See, leave these things. See, the truth of the matter is that they all gave.
Okay.
But it should be a matter of who give pass and who own water rich grant pass. That's the issue. Now, if you look at the issue of whether somebody bribed somebody or somebody announced somebody, see, let me tell you, Mr. Praise, the kind of Nigeria, I've never been disappointed in this country like I was after the announcement of the 25th. It's not like as though somebody was expecting a certain person as it were. But we all knew from the body language of the Nigerian people, from the massive turnouts of voters, where the direction was sitting. From the harassment, the intimidations, the vote buying, even where a sitting governor will need to now start threatening that if you don't announce results in my favor or in favor of the candidate I'm supporting, I will kill somebody. It was glaring. Now, even if you want to even do wayo, as it were in our local parlance, you should have done it in a more professional way. You are just, look, the likes of Dino Melaye raised very fundamental issues. And a few others, and still they work out. And General Professor Mahmoud Yakubu made a promise that the issues will be looked at clearly before the announcement of the results. But that's not what we saw. The same Professor Mahmoud, who earlier, the previous year in December, had come to tell Nigerians that if we are not working for you, who else are we working for? That the rumor, as it were, because you say rumor just now, so let me take you back, that we are not going to upload using beavers the results, that our Arabs was not going to work, was just a mercy, was a propaganda to discredit the commission, became a very clear fact. So what are we saying in essence? That they've shown to us that the more you look, the less you see. Let me tell you, Daniel, I wouldn't be shocked because it is Mahmoud, or it was Mahmoud that said, go to courts. And you know now, that has become a part of the Nigerian lexicon. Okay. I'm sure if you talk to 10 people today, about 4 or 5 of them will tell you go to court. Okay. Whether jokingly or seriously, they'll say go to court.
So was that the case of the Adamawa wreck?
Of course, she has gone to court.
Okay.
Because they do me, you do you. She has gone to court. Now, but let me tell you, I won't be surprised if that same lady tomorrow is declared the rightful winner of the Adamawa state elections by, if you like, you call it a court of competent jurisdiction in Nigeria. You ask me why would I say such? I'll tell you. It was in this country. We sat, number 4th became number 1 in a state in the southeast. Okay, and today is the sitting governor of that state. It was in this country. You and I were somebody, so-called somebody, who was in charge of certain funds that were declared missing. They say some of them pass on that bridge, some pass on top bridge, and then all put together, it was put on the head of the man. Supposedly declared wanted by the police, with a bench warrant issued for his arrest. The same man a few months later was discovered to still be active as a civil service person or somebody within the civil service that was still going to office on a daily basis. If you like, you call him miner, that he was mining oil. I don't know if that's his name. Okay. But the fact remains that a lot of it's in this country. We saw snakes swallowing billions, and then we could not. So anything can happen in a banana republic.
Okay, Nigeria is not a banana
No, I have not said Nigeria is a banana republic.
It's a federal republic of Nigeria.
I said anything can happen in a banana. You are the one saying Nigeria is a banana republic.
I didn't say that. I'm just trying to correct.
No, you did not correct what I didn't say.
Okay, Solomon, please. Let's quickly come to CJ. Now, he talked about Dino Melaye. And, of course, quickly, some states just concluded their primaries election. Kogi State, for instance, where Dino emerged as the governorship candidate of the state for the PDP. Yes. And, of course, we have, in quotes, what some people feel is an anointed candidate for the sitting governor, Yahaya Bello. Can we ever come out of this anointed candidacy in our political space?
The way it stands now, the way things are happening, the way things are going in this country, it will be very difficult to come out from such. I believe few days ago, or let's say a few weeks ago, I was having a discussion with somebody, and the person told me, he made mention of the power of incumbent government. I was trying to say, at least, somebody can just come in, contest election, and win. He said, no, that it's very difficult, the way things are now, that it will be very difficult for someone who is not, who is not close to the power, or who is not in the good book of the current, let's say, governor or president to win an election. But and again, with the story of things and with the way things are going in Nigeria, I believe maybe in the next 50 years, but right now, it's going to be very difficult for Nigeria to come out from quote-unquote anointed candidates. Like in the case of Edo State, let me not mention names. You saw the person that emerged as a governor. At the time, this person was not known to anybody. But the incumbent governor picked the person, and the person rode on the incumbent back, and the person emerged. So it will be difficult to come out anointed candidacy. Yes, it will be very difficult.
Okay, let's quickly come to Solomon now. It seems Governor Nyesom Wike of Rivers State is not done with the PDP family. Recently, he gave a press statement, or he spoke about the emergence of Dino Melaye and said Dino cannot be a good governor. What is it about Wike and the PDP? Can this battle ever end?
PDP, as it stands today, is a house divided against itself. Just like the APC. You can see the national vice chairman of the APC calling on the national chairman and giving him an ultimatum to do the needful. The issue of Dino Melaye and the issue of Nyesom Wike is like the issue of Nyesom Wike versus Alhaji Atiku Abubakar.
So could it be a backlash or carryover of the battle?
It's a carryover because
or transfer of aggression.
Not transfer of aggression. It's still the same. It's still the same issue. If you recall, Dino Melaye has been a very outspoken person in the PDP, and no other person would have been a better candidate for them in Kogi, considering his sacrifice, his losses. It may not be positive. For some of us to tell you, some of his utterances have negative energy, but some of them also have positive energy because he's a young person. But if you recall, Dino Melaye was one of the major voices Alhaji Atiku Abubakar had during the presidential campaigns, especially lashing on the likes of Nyesom Wike and any other person coming after the PDP presidential candidate. So now that is the turn of Dino Melaye to go to Kogi State. Be very rest assured that the person of Nyesom Wike would always want to give him a chip from what he has. But I'm not done with the issue of Kogi State. Praise, I'm sure we'll come back here.
We will.
To discuss Kogi State.
We sure will.
And let me assure you, the slogan of Kogi State will repeat itself again.
How?
Ta 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 ta.
Well, I don't know what that means.
No, then it means we are not following the campaigns in Kogi when campaigns of the White Lion was ongoing in Kogi then.
Okay.
His slogan is ta 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 ta.
Like I said.
Now, but let me say this. It's not Solomon Idogba making it up.
Okay.
You may not understand the meaning of ta 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 ta.
I'm trying to.
Okay. But you understand that you are thinking you do not. But let me say this. Yahaya Bello is not a small person in Kogi State as it stands today.
Dino campaigned for him while he was coming into office.
But you know that himself and Dino Melaya has been...
Of course, they have been at power.
And do not forget, let me remind you of a lady who said they've gone to tip sand, Abi Granite, on the way to her house. I'm just making some reflections.
State of the nation, of course.
It's a state of the nation that Kogi is not an easy place to tread, especially during elections. Let me tell you. A few years ago, we had a National Youth Council's Congress in Gombe.
Okay.
My experience from the Kogi Axis, where young persons were sponsored from Kogi to Gombe, just to ensure that the candidate that was not blessed, or if you like, what the language my brother used or you that you started with, an elected candidate. I'm not talking of the political settings. I'm talking of an apolitical setting, the National Youth Council of Nigeria. The mobilization by the governor, headed by the then Commissioner of Youth, showed to me what to expect in the Kogi governorship election.
Solomon.
So to speak, that it may not be devoid of the excessive youthful exuberance as is often seen in the Kogi setting. Therefore, is a place to watch out for. And the police should be ready to take the armored tank to Kogi.
All right,
State.
quickly, let's take this as a final shot, CJ. Lamidi Apapa, the factional leader of the Labour Party, has been suspended yesterday in Asaba. Okay, so, I don't know, do you think that the current crisis in Labour Party is politically motivated? Because some feel some other political parties are trying to get way into the Labour Party to divide them.
Don't forget, there are two sides to the coin. Yeah, there are two sides to the coin. It could be politically motivated, and it could also be a kind of a spontaneous happenings in the party. So don't forget, party is a makeup of human being with interests. So certainly there will be division as far as personal interest is there. So what I can say is that yes, political motivation will be there, interest will also be there. So in the end, in the whole process, I would say political motivation is more.
Okay.
Yes, it's more because everybody wants to be relevant.
Okay.
They want to get what they want to get what. So that's what I can say.
All right, quickly, 10 seconds. We don't have time. We need to close down. Let's take your reactions. Labour Party crisis.
It's obviously politically motivated.
Okay.
Of course, you know that Labour Party created the new narrative in the Nigerian political space. And of course, from the two major political parties, there will be serious interest in ensuring to dividing the Labour Party, because it has that is very against itself, cannot stand. There's an assumption in Benin that
Okay.
He who is dissecting a rotten animal cannot have his free hands to scratch himself when he has scratched it. So
right.
let me also say, considering the fact that we are hearing via our Bush Radio too, that the national chairman of the Labour Party may be having interest to also come here. Do not also take it off that some of the political interests may not also be far from his place of origin.
Thank you, Solomon. This is where we have to stop now. Abuja Network Center, we have Charity Tanko and of course Tolu Lokbe.